Alright, welcome back to the Arabian Open Masters Tournament by Adico and the Rising Empires community. So big shout outs to them. Check them out. Host an awful lot of cool stuff for Age of Empires 4. We got Puppypaw here in the red trunks on Mongols up against Wam in the pink, with Wam having taken game number 1 in their best of 3 here in the decider bracket. So winner of this qualifies for the top 8, loser gets sent to the losers bracket in the last chance effort. We have the Canadian brothers facing off now. So who's going to come out on top here between the twins? Who will represent Canada? And who will go home the loser? Spoiler alert, the loser is going to end up playing Magic in the losers final. So there'll be an all-Canadian match there anyway. Puppypaw doing some Gur scouting. Always efficient if you've got the micro for it, because you can see, I'm going to snatch up a third sheep with this. They have to be deployed to actually tag the sheep, but you can see them when you're marching them around. I never actually seem to be able to get this right. I usually get one sheep or none, and then I often end up losing the Gur. I mean, what? So the mining camp's being focused here instead of the villager, which is an odd choice because it'd be easy to kill the villager, but at the same time, a little bit of damage on this. Eventually, if Puppypaw does chip it down enough, he can get resources back. So the Mongols set buildings alight, they actually plunder them. So the mining camp is just instantly deleted there from Wam. Now that may or may not be a good idea, because potentially he could break this before the mining camp gets to burning stage. And I mean, he could always delete it when it gets to 400 health. Like, wait till he gets a bit over half health, or a bit under. You know, it's not about to burn, but just delete it by then. Yeah, I don't know. Like he's deleted the mining camp, but he's going to push out this early anyway. So if he pulls this off, he's basically wasted the mining camp. And there's some really nice micro there, saving the villager. I'll even send it back to go and gather in the interim, which is a good idea. So obviously, with these fighting villagers, he's losing a bit of gathering time, but at the same time, taking a good fight against Puppypaw here. Looks like he will be able to delay, if not outright deny this, the original villager being sent back home. It doesn't look like there's one streaming across to support this yet, so... A Delhi player. Wham. Able to use that early scholar. This is costing him time to get Piety up, but it is going to finish in time for him to get Sanctity not long after Dome of the Faith finishes up. Like, it'll delay by about 20 to 30 seconds. Not a huge deal at this point. He's saved a lot of villager health, healing them up. So he can actually look at getting, I'm going to say, maybe just pulling everything and just going for the fight. Otherwise, if he adds a range, which he's about to do with a few villagers, he should be able to get this up in time. Risking the villager. Ooh, he probably... Yeah, he probably should have just put it over this side with less villagers. Just have, you know, 3 wood gatherers build it while he just kept gathering here on food. Although he sort of doesn't need that much food at the moment, because the archers take about as much wood as they do food. All the other H2 units obviously take a lot more food than wood, but archers, you know, it's reversed, they take more wood. Still, the range is a little bit slower than what it otherwise could be. Safety a little bit delayed as well, but it's been not really anything in the way of real eco damage to Wam yet from Puppypaw. I mean, you know, now that mine, I can understand why he's deleted it. But for a second there, it looked like he really was going to break this hold before Puppypaw would have the chance to really harass the mill at all, or even the mining camp. So now, Wam's going to try and pull everything and just see how he goes here. So he is going to lose a couple of villagers, I say, but he's pulled onto the spears now, so he might only going to lose the 1 villager and an archer. Scholar being focused down. There's 5 spears still inside here. Potentially pick off another vill or 2. But he really only gets the 1 villager and the scholar and an archer there. So Wam now able to retake his gold mine. Mongols player, Puppypaw retreating. Delhi player breathing a bit of a sigh of relief. This is now no scholar for him though, so is he getting one out of the dome? No, not yet. There we go, he's just adding the mining camp now, so a little bit starved for gold there early on. Do all that harass, which is slowing down all the free tech acquisition here for the Delhi player. Silver tree here for the Mongol player. So be able to start on a market eco fairly shortly. He's already rallied onto the neutral market. But he probably won't start making the traders for a little bit just yet. So Wam going to start walling in sacreds, because now he can start. He's got sanctity, so he can start capturing sacred sites. It's only just now starting to get a scholar though. That Mongol harass must have knocked him around a little bit. And it's annoying playing the gold hungry civs into the Mongols. Wall off pretty much finished. So the scholar going to be nice and safe. Wam can look at doing the same to the other sacred site. He may eventually have to come and back this up, because it's not large enough to keep the scholar alive from range harass. So Puppypaw, a bit smart, splitting up his archers like that. And just to pick off scholar over the wall. So maybe he should have made the box off even bigger. Or kept his army there. Just trying to take the range fight over the walls. Because your opponent's sort of got to pick between focusing down the scholar and focusing down your archers while the scholar heals them. Now we've got the silver tree actually shifted out to the corner. So rather than rely on spending Ovu stone on producing 2 caravans at once, he's just initially produced a couple of them and then basically, yeah, deployed the silver tree. So is that attack speed arrow? Yeah, he's actually making use of the attack speed arrow here. Puppypaw just to cram out a little bit more damage. And Wham having to retreat for the most part. He's lost a lot of his range ball. Starting to be very tentative with engagements with his horsemen because there is a couple of spears in the mix there. Puppypaw, so Puppypaw creeping ahead on army. Wham's managed to actually capture the sacred site, so now Puppypaw, if he can't really get a lot of kill value and force him off the resources, probably going to come back and clear this up. In fact, he's going to have a couple of units just slowly work away at the palisade. He's dealt his damage for now. Keeping the army together though, because he's wondering whether or not Wham's going to try and venture back out. In fact, Wham rallying the archer. Wrong spot there. Probably needed to recorrect that back to over here, which we'll do now. So Wham attempting to capture the sacred site right next to the silver tree. Very bold. He'll only just get it too. I think that Scholar will get chased down. He might have been better off taking the safe sacred, but at the same time, this does bring the army up here to let Wham get that safe sacred at the bottom side of the map. We'll generate a little bit of gold having captured this. I don't know if it does or doesn't actually pay off the Scholar by that point. I don't think it does. But at the same time, it has pulled Puppypaw away. Oh, and this nice little raid by the cavalry will slow things down. So it could last a little bit longer. It might actually end up paying for the Scholar, because bearing in mind he would have only been 90 gold rather than 150. Wham going to try and deal a bit of damage to the caravans. If he can slow down the trader eco, he can really harm the Mongols player. Just trying to play a fairly greedy H2 to H3 behind Market Eco. So Puppypaw losing both those caravans. Now in castle. Nice big range ball catching out the villager. Trying to wall off there too, so it's nice for both, you know, cutting down the villager by 1 and, you know, slowing down the wall off so you can potentially get more raiding value, or your opponent's got to reinvest in finishing off the wall. Not being deployed straight away. Sacred site being captured. I mean, being neutralized by Puppypaw, but it's also now been cleared again by Wham, so you might be able to retake it soon. For the time being, he's probably just content to sit on the gold income from the 2. It's just like having 2 relics. He probably wants to try and get the Scholar to grab the relic as soon as he goes to age 3 as well. But he might be best off trying to hide him just behind this pocket of trees, considering there's a couple of spears coming in to pick him off. Be a nice 90 gold take for Puppypaw if he gets the kill. Wham trying to raid around the map, and he's just keeping an eye on up here. Some spears right next to that marketplace though. Wham going to clean up some of Puppypaw's raiding archers, but there's some more sneaking around, trying to see where else they can get value. The hunt is awfully scattered there. So the Scholar does get cleaned up. It probably would have been a good idea for Wam to try and hide him and then sneak him back out onto the relic as he gets to age 3. He's desperate to try and get that wall up on the top side done. Puppypaw snuck some units through there a couple of times. Managing to snipe another scholar now who's trying to go for that relic, so I think it's actually costed Wam 2 scholars by not hiding this first one, because not only is he not hidden in, the second one gets timed and picked off by Puppypaw. He's going to pick off another one. So that's 3 scholars, you know, 270 gold just straight down the drain there for Wam. He's still struggling to gather the gold he needs to try and squeeze out some nice age 3 units. Puppypaw able to defend this market line, just parking some spears here. Good idea. Not a big population investment, but it means, you know, a single knight or 2 horsemen can't just be used to try and plunder the market line. Oh, and this is very nice for Puppypaw. He's kiting a shitload of Wam's villagers, and Wam not paying attention to this at all. So 16 villagers being given a pretty big run around there. Not a huge amount of harass damage by the archers otherwise, but that's a lot of worker time to eat up. I think Wam just expected to basically have the archers not get microed. Puppypaw venturing forward, picking off a little bit more. Nice raid here from Wam though, taking advantage of the map being quite open. Finishing his opponent with the caravans, and he's picked sort of the right side, the right part of the caravan line to raid, because there is those spears further up. So caravan for a lancer at this point, probably worthwhile. Wam struggling for military count. Puppypaw still slightly ahead on the eco count. So Puppypaw gonna try and take Wam's last sacred site away, but Wam grabbed one of the relics in response. Gonna keep trying to get some more. Well, it's a nice save there from Wam. There's probably a unit, the relic's not there, and those knights could have really cleaned him up quite easily. Potentially this relic, but the army also not too far by. People camping one of the other relics as well, so Wam up to 2 relics. Sacred site. Not going to be around much longer. A lot of low vills here. Puppypaw on that gold mine. And he is going to get a nicely timed little run by here. Wam going to have to bring back a lot of his army. Try and clean this up. So a few villagers going to fall for naught. Another little raid attempt here by Wam being picked off by a Puppypaw. Looks like Wam going to try and grab back the bottom sacred site. A little bit of gold income here. That Delhi player. Having lost the central sacred. And the top sacred pretty much out of the question, I think. Puppypaw's just keeping too much of a good eye on that one, because he wants to protect his market line as well. Full health Lancer versus a full health and a low health Lancer as well, so well, they're going to run straight by one another. Puppypaw going to try raiding Wam the long way around. Or Wam already hitting with his raid. He's going to pick off another trader. Conversion unsuccessful. Knights just a little bit slow to save that scholar in the end. Separate out, being shifted onto the next gold mine. Not really any traders up at the moment. And it looks like Silver Tree could be under a bit of threat. So Wam's just seeing if there is any caravans up to kill first. It's always more worthwhile, if not focusing villagers. Got the Vil getting picked off there. Let's raid. I'll run into a bigger number of Lancers here. So Wham's still slightly down to Puppypaw on Eco Pop. And now Army Pop as well. Wham spotted the step red out. There's a catch. Raiders here. He's lost that bottom sacred site once again though. Up by 2 relics against the Mongol player, but bear in mind with the step red out, with access to boosted trading, Mongols really not all that gold starved by any means. Wham dropping a couple more Lancers. Get a huge amount back out of that. Another attempt at walling in this central sacred. I'm going to check the bottom side sacred as well before he puts a scholar on it. Puppypaw. Not the defenders he needs to ward off the knights for now, but bearing in mind Archers versus Lancers is not the best of trades, so there's a lot of population to have locked up over there. But Lancers also trying to hit the caravan line, but Puppypaw isn't really invested in any more here, so Wham is going to run into a nice mix of crossbow Lancer with pure Lancer, which is not the greatest of trades for him. Puppypaw, nice planned defense here. I mean, the Archers, not the best against the Lancers, but there's a nice rule of value going on the other side of the map. So these guys are going to be solid against the rest of the infantry, well, against the infantry component of Wham's army at least. So a nice catch there for Puppypaw, protecting a non-existent market line. Just camping the central goal. Ever patient. He's gotten a lot of value out of killing scholars here, and he does have the army to stick around and fight this. Here we go, the rest of the infantry is joining the fight for both players now. Puppypaw, I think, does have a slight lead overall. When had to secure his 3rd relic, and he has been holding the 1 sacred site though, so that's largely been alleviating the villager gap, if not giving things a slight favouring. Big squadron of Lancers here now for Wham. Taking a bit of a long way round, but if they can get on top of each of these 2 sets of outlying villages for Puppypaw, it could really turn the game around here, I think. Bearing in mind, Puppypaw is just camping that central relic, just waiting to see what Puppypaw does here. I mean, Wham does here, but he's also potentially a little bit far away. Save the Vils. Losing a tower, nothing really consequential. I think Wam might have been better off just checking over here, forcing Puppypaw to retreat these guys first, because he's going to have to back out with his lancers against his opponents anyway. Wam slightly down in terms of upgrades that are going to benefit melee fights. He's got ranged armor over Puppypaw, but he doesn't have any of his melee bonuses yet, so Puppypaw going to be able to take a much nicer fight with the Knights. Siege added into the mix here for our players. Mangonels, nice against the big clumps of infantry that they've both got. Puppypaw is up 4,000 army kill value and 3,000 army value at the moment. 30 population lead overall, but 20 of it is in army. So we're going to try going for a bit of a raid here on Puppypaw, but Puppypaw, I think, just realised that this twin hasn't got the cavalry here at home, and it might be a little bit of a time before he's actually got to worry about being hit at home somewhere. But those gold gatherers. Whoa, that reaction speed. Holy! That reaction speed. So these guys showed up here and he's gone. He's out, he knew. Really well timed there. But in saying that, he's got to split the villages up really well here. Bringing these guys over to his food gatherers is probably going to put them at risk too. So this is potentially a big cleanup here from when, even with Puppypaw's really nice reaction there. And so he can't really afford to stick around too long here. He doesn't want to lose his siege. But he manages to trade a hit on the Mangonel for a Springald. Puppypaw is now down by 16 villages, which is pretty big because he was actually up by about 10 there. So a bit of a 25 fill swing in favour of Wam with this little raid here. I was thinking Puppypaw probably thought he was ready to just, you know, split up his vills and get them out of there in time, but Wam with a really nice clean up there, so you can going to clean up that outpost so he doesn't get spotted again next time. And I think that really pulls him back into this game because Puppypaw does not have a lot of gold left, and he's got to transfer a lot of villages to go and gather what he needs to try and stay maxed out here in the event of a fight between the two of them, or if he wants to try and get to Imperial Age anytime soon. Not that Wam has the resources to go there either. There's not a lot left in his tank at the moment. Quite a bit of gold left on the map though, but our players playing around one town centre. It takes a little while to actually get the eco really going, and in the event that either of you have villagers get killed off in fights, it doesn't get easy to replace them like it is if you step it up to 3 or 4 town centres each. Or 2 or 3 town centres each, sorry. Or, you know, even one town centre and you're both going on markets. Defensive town centres there. Scholars going to be able to shield for each other. But I don't know if you can just drop and relic cycle to actually keep trying converts. I don't think you can. So these guys are just going to have to try and flee with their grouped health pool. That's 360 gold there, and they probably should keep retreating rather than just standing there and copying it. Oh, actually, in saying that, they should be right. Wham's on the job. Gonna clean all this up. And he's going to have to, because Puppypaw is going to respond to his earlier raid in kind. In fact, he's even going to put knights on both sides of the fence. So Wam has no choice choice but to just keep on retreating the one way. I think the Scholar's going to be alright, because those guys are going to be able to protect him. Even if he stays and kills the Scholar, he loses the other 3 Lancers. Not worth it. Those villagers forced to retreat a bit. Wham! Still up on Puppypaw in terms of the Vil count. But Puppypaw's left some Lancers here that Wham's got to come back and clean up. He's going to be a bit careful with that, because he could drop half a dozen villagers over here. Another attempt at getting the Scholar down. Unsuccessful. Philpops really locked up now, because Puppypaw, those 3 Lancers split off back this way, really paid a dividend. The villagers have been tasked back onto the mills and then chopped up in the process. So even in pops in terms of eco, army pops favouring Wham slightly, and he's going for it, but bearing in mind he's got a lot of archers running in to a good number of outposts here. Springled outposts to be able to really pick off these infantry in 1 or 2 hits each. Wham's got to try and set up so that he can push through with his trebuchets. Really got some mangonels for now. He's going to want to try and add some traction trebs if he can. But just try and catch Puppypaw outside of the towers, unless he can get the keep up here. But his own range is preventing the keep from going up. There he goes, a little slow on it, but he's got plenty of vills to force this up. He's seemingly well protected at home. Of course, got everything back at home here to defend. Does he have enough back at home here to defend? Because Wham is really going for it here. He takes the game, I think. He takes the series 2-0, so well, doing everything he can to hold on now. Squadron of Lancers active out in the map as well. Wham is really applying the squeeze here. He's up a little bit in terms of the Vil count. He's up 1-0 in the best of 3 as well, so for seemingly on the ropes, but bearing in mind keep going to take a while to get through those towers. He's going to have to add a bit of siege to really make this work. Counterweight treb here for Wham, but I think it's in range of one of the Springle towers, so it's just going to get picked off. Bit of a mistake there for Wham. Well, Puppypaw is in Imp, so he's got access to the bombard. That Silver Tree can push right to the back to protect the traders. Now the Lancers sort of being caught out trying to raid that market line, which has been a bit intermittent here. And Wham taps out. GG. Puppypaw takes the game, locks up the series 1-1. I really thought Wham might have had that there. He's really going for the push, but it was just a bit too much on the raid. The market line had been revived and he sort of hadn't jumped on it early enough, and GG.